How's it going, Eagle? What's up, dude? Low. Zivler, Marble Runner. Yanni? Dude, what's up? Got an ad? Rip. I'm not gonna start for like another minute though, so you're good. Your headphones don't want to work? That's a big rip. You only spend 30 minutes on this task? Sometimes the amount of time that you spend on a task doesn't exactly relate to how well you do. So, I don't really think that matters. How am I, like, really good at bingo? I've played it a lot. And, yeah, I do have really good game knowledge. I've realistically just played it a lot. Like, I've literally been playing bingo on and off since early 2018, so... You have color? Oh, that's just the winner. Top 4 has different colors. But because I am dumb and have inconsistent internet, and I'm now doing media files, I don't want to show the slide, obviously, and I don't want to have to, like, write down everything or take a picture of it, God forbid. So instead, I just put all the info in, you know, each of the little media files. How many submissions? 14. We tied task 1 submissions. What RTA is? RTA is real-time attack. Alrighty, so I'm going to get started. So, welcome to the task 4 results for Aggron tasks. This is a series over in the community task server. If you have no idea what it is, somebody in this chat will likely link you to it. Anyways, this task was held in the Cascade Kingdom. You just had to complete 5 of the 10 objectives to finish the task, and timing would finish on your last completed objective. The cool thing about Cascade Kingdom is you could obviously break fossil blocks before your run. I tried not to make this too much of a nuisance, since you can't really reset them with warping or dying. Like, you literally need to exit KFR or switch modes. It's really stupid. But it would have been a cool objective if, you know, it wasn't such a nuisance to reset. Anyways, on to the actual objectives. First, we have Capture a Chain Chomp. Pretty self-explanatory. They're all around the kingdom, so... You're there.
Get up here.
I can't.
Dad's calling.
Oh my god. Alright, hold on, guys. BRB. Alright. Hashtag unexpected interruptions. Where was I? Oh yeah. Objectives. Capture a Chain Chomp. Pretty self-explanatory. Just capture the Chain Chomp. Ride the Spark Pylon. There's only one, so it works at 2 different checkpoints, which is nice. starting a timer challenge, Scarecrow or Notes. I believe all three of them were used, actually. The Notes is inside the 8-bit, which coincided with Enter a Pipe, which is kind of cool. Enter a body of water. Well, there's only one body of water, so just enter it. You had to be in the swimming animation, though, so, yeah. Collecting 2 regionals. This worked with the coin objective, since I'm talking about it. Collect 15 coins. You can just do that in any way that you wish, except for Balloon World coins carbon. Kidding. Breaking 2 rocks. Again, pretty self-explanatory. There's a few sets around the kingdom. Standing on 2 unique fossilized objects. So this objective is interesting. I was trying to think of how I could still incorporate the fossils without, breaking them. So I'm like, oh, what if we just have an objective where we just stand on them? So that's how that happened. Basically, there were 4 different types. You had the dino head, you had the little rib, you had the stone block, and you had the stone rock. I guess that's a good way to describe them. Talk to an NPC or sign. This would act as like an ending objective, because obviously talking to an NPC takes a long time. And Enter a Pipe kind of would also act like that. So now that I talked about the objectives and general task design, let's actually get to the results. Like I said before, because I'm doing media files now and I don't want to memorize a bunch of stuff, I just have all the videos here with the info. So in 14th place, we have Orange Plays, and you're wondering why it says slow +1. I didn't decide to time this run. I have my reasons. Anyways, Orange Plays technically submitted an invalid run, but this is his first task, so I didn't want to be mean or anything. So basically, yeah, this is a run. He rolls past one of the rocks, which makes no sense, starts the timer challenge, and then get this. He's rolling, he's falling, he lands on a duplicate fossilized object, and enters the pipe. So unfortunately, this is an invalid run, but I still decided to let it slide. This is his first task submission ever. So, yeah, this exists. Good job, Orange Plays. In 13th place, we have... Who was 13th place? That was 9 Netter. This is also his first task submission, I believe. I don't know, maybe he submitted to a different series, but this was his first submission for my series. Anyways, his submission was alright. He got a 15.67 and earned himself 5 points, using the fossilized objects at first. I think the way he went about it was a little slow, which was the problem. Captures a chain chomp, and then breaks some rocks. Timer challenge into the sign. That timer challenge plus sign combo was definitely something that I thought about while making the task. I was like, oh, there's a sign next to this timer challenge. That's probably useful. So normally, like, the timer challenge would be the end objective, but since they're so close together, you could justify just waiting. But at the same time, I think just the biggest issue with this was just the movement's a little slow, and the general choices that he makes with some of his objectives maybe weren't the best. He probably could have captured the pylon and rode it a bit. Maybe chose different fossilized objects that put him closer. But overall, it's not a bad submission. Just a little less than most. That's all. In 12th place, we have Joseph. Joseph got a 15.14 and earned himself 7 points. Let's take a look at Joseph's run. Joseph was usually in, like, 6th or 7th place consistently throughout the season so far, so it kind of shocked me that he got this low. But then I looked at this route, and I can totally understand. It's a cool route. It generally does what it's got to do. He decides that he just doesn't want to do anything else when he first warps to the Odyssey and just rides the pylon all the way up to these regionals, which just feels super slow. I guess the coin route works. And then he enters the 8-bit pipe and collects the music notes. I mean, it's not, like, ideal. I definitely like the route. The problem is he's spending way too much time not actually moving toward objectives. Like, he literally spends almost half of this run inside of that pylon. And I think that's definitely what costs him the most time. This route maybe could have worked if he started from, like, say, the Fossil Fall Heights checkpoint. I honestly think this route actually would have been pretty good if he started from there. He also could have utilized the Luigi art as well, potentially, to get even more coins, but I don't think that would have been necessary, to be honest, because as you can see, there's 15 coins right there, so, yeah, good job to Joseph. The route's definitely creative, it just suffers from not, actually moving toward objectives for, like, half the run. In 11th place, we have Moby? I don't really know how to pronounce this. I'm gonna go with Moby, because Moby would, like, imply... Actually, maybe it would still be Moby. I'm, like, thinking of, you know, Moby Dick. But, yeah. I think what this run suffers from is similar to Joseph's, but it's in a different sense. You're falling for a very long time, Moby, and that's usually not ideal, especially if you're not, like, getting all of your objectives while you're falling. You're just spending time falling, and that's definitely where this run suffers. It's still sub 15, and he still earned himself a solid 8 points for this submission. I'd say that's pretty good. He submitted a run that, was slightly, like, ahead when it first jumped out. I'm not too sure what happened there. So I did have to add a couple of frames to this run to validate it, but besides that, that's not that big of a deal. I think, in general, the way he goes about this is a little slow. Like, he decides to go to capture the chain chomp first, and then hit fossil blocks, and then pylon, or, sorry, not hit fossil blocks, stand on fossil blocks. You don't see my time, though, which is strange, unless Aggron timed differently. Your time's definitely there. Hold on. Okay. Anyways. Next. Who's next? In 10th place, we have Saloff. Saloff got a 13.14 and earned himself 10 points. Or, sorry, not 10 points. He was 10th place and earned 12 points. Yeah, that's what it was. Saloff's run was cool. I really like the movement he does at the beginning here. Let me just go back to it. So, he warps, obviously. And then he does a little dram strat here to land on the fossil block. Rides the pylon and then stands on another one. The rat idea is really cool, but I think it suffers because, honestly, it just generally isn't fast. I don't think the way he went about it was bad, just the objective choice and placement wasn't good. Other than that, I think the only other, like, fault was that he didn't hit the pylon beforehand to, you know, make sure that he didn't have to jump up at the beginning. It might have made the dram a little more optimal, but I doubt it would have saved too much more time. But overall, this is still a pretty clean run, and I really like what he was doing here. So he earned himself 12 points for that. Also, you gotta respect 13.14. It's kind of like 3.14. BP31? Of course. Anyways. In 9th place, we have G4, actually. G4 told me that he didn't spend too much time on this. I guess that kind of makes sense. It does kind of show. The movement isn't bad or anything. Just, I think the route and objective choices that he made here weren't too good. He opts to get the cat Mario, though, which is cool for the coins. But besides that, it's honestly just the route choices that he made. Like, he definitely played that section a little bit slow. Like, he could have broke the fossil block beforehand. That way he didn't have to, like, wait and then get the regionals slowly. Like, he could have just spin through at the beginning, I think, to reach them. Like, spin through roll cancel or something. I don't know. I'm not too sure. And then, obviously, he could have broke the pylon as well, which also would have saved time. But besides that, not really too much different going on. He does decide to synergize his run by landing in the water and starting a timer challenge. That was used a lot, especially with that timer challenge. Well, it's the only other spot. It's the only spot with water, so of course it's only this timer challenge. But this was definitely a very used synergy in this task, so good job to G4 for recognizing that. He still earned himself 13 points, though, and got 9th place, so well done, G4. The next two runs have some penalties to them. I still allowed them because I didn't do a very good job of verifying people's runs immediately, because I started my first full-time job in my field of work, so I've been kind of busy the past few days. I just didn't really get a chance to, like, look at people's runs, so I was a little lenient on that. So they just got 1 second penalties. In 8th place, we have Pseudonym. Pseudonym's run is pretty neat. He starts from the bottom checkpoint, actually, which is pretty cool. I knew that there was probably 1 or 2 routes from that checkpoint, but besides that, he didn't break the rocks. Pseudonym, you were supposed to break the rocks. What happened, dude? But, assuming he did break the rocks, this would have been, like, you know, a 10.3. But it's an 11.3, because he didn't break the rocks. Ah, yes, thank you, Pseudonym. Appreciate it. But you should have broke the rocks. You think breaking takes more than 1 second? Potentially. I was being pretty lenient about it. Again, I was just a little too busy to, like, verify runs immediately, and, you know. It's possible breaking could have taken more than 1 second, but there's also rocks down at the bottom that break immediately. Well, there's the rock that you can collide with the moon, like the one with the moon in it, so I guess I was basing it off of that. But I generally like the strategy that he takes here. He just warps and then gets his fossil objective right off the bat, capturing the chain chomp. Rolling into the rocks would work if they actually broke. Enters the water, and regionals. So yeah, besides the penalty, this run was pretty cool. I like the route variety. I think that was the only run starting from that checkpoint, so good job for making that work. In 7th place, we have another penalty run. It is AJ. He would have had a 9.51, but I had to add a second because he didn't jump off 2 fossilized objects. Yeah. So I think he thought the rib cage was considered a fossilized object, which I guess could have been true, but for the purpose of this task and balancing, I only counted the head. So, yeah. The route overall, though, is pretty cool, though. Like, if he definitely jumped off 2 different fossilized objects, this would have been, like, a high 9, I think. But, alas, penalties had to be assessed. I generally like what AJ does at the end here. Like, just jumping down, then spin throwing the regionals while entering the water. That saved him a ton of time because he was able to collect the regionals almost as soon as he landed into the water. So, that made for some good synergy. This earned AJ 20 points. Oh, I forgot to mention, Pseudonym earned himself 17 points. But you guys can read, so that's okay. Anyways, on to runs that don't have penalties. The next 3 runs were very close to each other. We got a 10.4, a 10.24, and a 10.16. So, all these runs are within 1 point of each other, essentially. So we got Blip. Blip does some interesting movement at the start. It's a similar idea to AJ's. I think it's just performed a little less optimally, but he does get all of his objectives, so his run is ultimately faster in the end. By a very little bit. His and AJ's run were very similar, so I'm not gonna, discuss too much on it. This is basically what AJ could have done, essentially. I feel like if you combine both of their runs, they could have gotten, a high 9. So, besides that, though, it's a good run. 21 points is still very respectable. Let's see. 5th place, we have Kill a Dragon. Kill a Dragon has been kind of an underdog in this season. He's kind of new to tasks, but he's pretty good at them. So, Kill A has a very similar route to AJ and Blip. In fact, it's almost exactly the same as AJ's. The only difference is the ending. The ending, he lost a lot of time doing a mid-air down throw. I bet you if he did a spin throw like AJ did, he would have gotten a similar time to, he would have gotten, a high 9, or at least a sub 10. So, well, I guess that's what a high 9 is. Maybe a very low 10. He lost a lot of time on that mid-air down throw. But besides that, the run was really clean. He decides to ride the pylon immediately, which maybe could have lost him some time over Blip. It's hard to say. His ending was definitely more optimal than Blip's. But at the same time, again, it's hard to say realistically whose run was better in terms of where one lost time over the other, because they were slightly different. Anyways, entering the top 4, in 4th place we have Jigs Guy. Jigs Guy earned himself 23 points and got a 10.16 in this task. Jigs Guy's run is actually really cool, because you want to know what he does, guys? He talks to something. 4th place actually talks to something. I mean, I was maybe expecting top 4 to use that as an ending objective, but I wasn't sure, to be honest. It was one of those objectives where I was like, okay, maybe this is good, maybe it's really bad. I'm honestly not sure. But Jigs Guy found a way to make it work in his run. So well done to Jigs Guy. Another thing to note with Jigs Guy's run is the fact that he lands on the bottom edge of the rib. This was used by a couple of people in top 4, actually, so it's nice that people realize that that's still counted as part of the fossilized object. So, and it's definitely faster to land on the bottom part of the rib than the top part of the rib. It was also kind of awkward to land on the top part of the rib, so I guess I apologize for that if you decided to grind your run for that. But besides that, Jigs Guy's run is really good. It's very unique. Talking to Uncle Amiibo to finish. Very nice. In 3rd place, we have Carbon, who got a 9.74 and earned himself 25 points. So, Carbon, it's kind of what I was saying earlier about Blip's run. It's basically Blip's run, but better. In fact, that's exactly what it is. I don't even know what else to add to that. It's Blip's run, but better. I don't think they do anything differently. I mean, he rides the pylon first. Okay, wait. I just realized what the difference was. The difference was, he insta-dives out of the pylon in a direction that allows him to land on his first fossilized object. And doing that allowed him to save a ton of time over Blip and Kill a Dragon. Well, Blip didn't ride the pylon first, so I guess Kill a Dragon. So that's where the time save was, because if you recall correctly, Kill A had to, go around and then dive onto the thing. But Carbon was just able to execute the movement perfectly in a way where he doesn't have to move much after exiting the pylon. So that's definitely where the time save comes from. This was a 9.74. Now, the top 2. Oh man, these top 2 are so freaking close. But honestly, I think you guys can already tell who got first just based off of the quality pre-image. But anyways, second place was Zyvor. Zyvor got an 8.7. And, yeah. That's a run. So, let's break this down, because there's a lot happening, especially in the beginning. So, a strategy that was implemented here was he decided to land on the fossil as soon as he captured the pylon. This allowed him to have a very fast entry. And he just rode the pylon over to the other fossil block. And then that down throw was very clean because it allowed him to get a very, very good line towards the Scarecrow. And obviously entering the water and then capturing the Scarecrow. Well, not capturing it, but throwing Cappy at it. Zyvor, what you were referring to earlier... Yes, okay. So, what Zyler is referring to was, in DMs, I told him that I was going to use the first frame Cappy was on the Scarecrow, but I realized that technically doesn't spawn the timer challenge. What ends up spawning the timer challenge is, when, like, the camera pans. The first frame the camera pans is when the timer challenge actually starts. So, like, I guess I kind of lied. But it didn't really matter because first place used a very similar idea and had a similar ending. It is Eagle. Eagle got an 8.64, barely edging out Zyvor. They had very similar runs. Yes, you gotta love the Eagle quality. It's actually pretty clean this time. Well done to Eagle for having clean quality for once. He, yeah, it's a very similar run. In fact, I'd argue it's, like, almost carbon copied. So I think because Eagle was off camera at the beginning, that allowed him to get a slightly faster, like, a slightly better line to the pylon than Zyvor. I think that's literally, like, the only, like, difference in terms of, like, things that they do. Because it's mostly the same. I mean, Eagle does dive out of the pylon. I think Zyvor just fell out of it. I don't exactly remember, even though I literally just saw the run. What the fuck? Anyways, so, yeah, it's basically Zyvor's run, just slightly better. I don't really know what to say about that, but congrats to Eagle for winning Task 4, and earning himself a very respectable 30 points. Zyvor still earned 29 points, though, so it's not like he really lost much from getting second. The two runs were so close that it barely mattered. So, GG to Eagle for winning Task 4. And if you haven't seen Task 5 yet... Well, actually, here's the results all there. I'll be posting that later. And if you haven't seen Task 5, there it is. Let's get it. Alright. So, Task 5 is going to be in the Moon Kingdom. You have to complete 4 of 6 objectives. Bounce on an Astrolancer, aka Space Squid, break 3 rocks, collect a rocket flower, open a flower, collect a heart, get damaged by a moonstake. The only thing that got tweaked was I banned a heart because I'm an idiot and I forgot it existed, but besides that, everything else is fair game. You're bouncing on the Astrolancer and not killing it because some stupid game dev at Nintendo was like, hey, if you kill Space Squid, you have to leave the kingdom to reload him. So, you're welcome about the heart. Yeah, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. I feel like I would have realized it eventually. I was just making the task really quickly, so I kind of just glimpsed at the Heartless. Barely even realized that it was there, so. But besides that, that's it for this week. You'll have till Monday night to submit this task. I'm changing it to Monday night because it's not like I can even look at your runs anymore during Monday day. So, that's cool. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the results stream, and I'll see you here next week for Task 5 results.